Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radha Madhava ki Jai. Jai Jai Shri Palat Lakshmi Singhadev ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, ich habe heute mein Elektrobuch mitgebracht, seit ich nicht mehr so gut lesen kann. Die Buchstaben sind zu klein oder mir ist ein bisschen zu wenig Licht manchmal. Oder ich bin zu müde. So, die Frage besteht trotzdem, wie sprechen wir denn? Wir haben Kirti Radhika, da kommt Asha as well. Is there somebody for translation in irgendeine Richtung? You would like to translate? You can translate. Okay, in welche Richtung? Von Englischen ins Deutsche. Aha, so wer versteht kein Englisch? Kishorikund. Dann versammelt sich Kishorikund um Samira oder Samira um Kishorikund. Okay. So, dann lesen wir im dritten Kanto, Kapitel, we read from the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 24, verse 30. I have 30. Advaita told me 30. Good to be informed. Anyway, then we read 31. Okay. Tani eva te birupani. Tani eva te birupani. Tani eva te birupani. Rupani Bhagavams Tava. Rupani Bhagavams Tava. Rupani Bhagavams Tava. Yani Yani Cha Rochante. Yani Yani Cha Rochante. Yani Yani Cha Rochante. Sva Chananam Arupina. Svachananam Arupina. Svachananam Arupina. Tani eva te birupani. Rupani Bhagavams Tava. Yani Yani Charochante. Svachananam Arupina. Please. Rupani. Rupani Bhagavams Tava. Yani Yani Charochante. Svajananam Arupina. Tani eva te birupani. Rupani Bhagavams Tava. Yani Yani Charochante. Svachananam Arupina. Ladies. Tani eva te birupani. Rupani Bhagavams Tava. Yani Yani Charochande. Svajananam Arupinaha. Tani eva te birupani. Rupani Bhagavams Tava. Yani Yani Charochante. Svajanam Rupina. Tani. Those. Eva. Truly. Te. Your. Abhirupani. Suitable. Rupani. Forms. Bhagavan. O Lord. Tava. Your. Yani Yani. Whichever. Cha. And. Rochante. Are pleasing. Svachananam. To your own devotees. Arupina. Of one with no material form. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear Lord, although you have no material form, you have your own innumerable forms. They truly are your transcendental forms, which are pleasing to your devotees. Purport. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the Lord is one absolute, but He is Ananta, or innumerable forms, Advaitam, Achyutam, Anandam, Anandim, Anantarupam. The Lord is the original form, but still He has multi-forms. Those multi-forms are manifested by Him transcendentally according to the tastes of His multi-devotees. It is understood that once Hanuman, the great devotee of Lord Ramachandra, said that he knew that Narayan, the husband of Lakshmi, and Ram, the husband of Sita, are one and the same, and that there is no difference between Lakshmi and Sita. But as for himself, he liked the form of Lord Ram. In a similar way, some devotees worship the original form of Krishna. When we say Krishna, we refer to all forms of the Lord, not only Krishna, but Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, Narayan, etc. The varieties of transcendental forms exist simultaneously. That is also stated in the Brahma Samhita. Ramati Murtishu Nanavataram. He already exists in multi-forms, but none of the forms are material. Shrita Swami has commented that Arupina, without form, means without material form. The Lord has form, otherwise how can it be stated here? Tani eva te birupani rupani bhagavam stava. You have your forms, but they are not material. Materially, you have no form, but spiritually, transcendentally, you have multiforms. Mayavadi philosophers cannot understand these transcendental forms of the Lord, and being disappointed, they say that the Supreme Lord is impersonal. But that is not a fact. Whenever there is form, there is a person. Many times in many Vedic literatures, the Lord is described as Purusha, which means the original form, the original enjoyer. The conclusion is that the Lord has no material form, and yet, according to the liking of different grades of devotees, he simultaneously exists in multiforms such as Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, Narayan, and Mukunda. There are many thousands and thousands of forms, but they are all Vishnu Tattva, Krishna. Om Agnanati Mandasya Kanananchana Shalakya Chakshumidam Yena Tasmai Shigrave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manopistam Stabidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadadi Swabarandikam Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktabrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I offer obeisances to my spiritual master, my seniors who so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. And we have the translation again. My dear Lord, although you have no material form, you have your own innumerable forms. They are truly your transcendental forms, which are pleasing to your devotees. So, since I prepared the verse from before, because I didn't know that we run one verse ahead the list, I'm a little bit in between, but we try to make the best out of it. We have, of course, what's going on here in this moment in the Bhagavatam? Who can give a summary study of the last days? Who's speaking? To whom? Yeah. Basically, he is glorifying the Lord. So, and what's going on? Why he glorifies the Lord? Because he got a cute little baby. Did he say, "Oh, you're so cute! You're such a cutie little baby"? No, Munindra. Yes, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and with which purpose he came. Me too. To whom? Devahuti, yes. So actually it's a very great blessing for Devahuti. Of course also for Karama Muni, because he got the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his Kriha, basically. He didn't had to go to Loipasa or somewhere to buy some deities. Deity came directly to him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And guess what? He could immediately, Karama Muni and Devahuti could transfer their love to the deity. This is a little bit difficult if you have kids. You give all your love to the kids, and somehow you have to kind of transfer this love to the deity of the Lord. When we got our first child, and being a Puchari, I could understand how the whole process is working actually. Because when we wake the Lord in the morning, right, and then we speaking soothing words, try to pacify him, the Lord, or say, welcome, please sit down. You have the asana here, and then we undress the Lord, then we bathe the Lord, then we try the Lord, and then we dress the Lord again, and again we speaking prayers and glorification, and in the end we feed the Lord. So when we had a baby, the same process of puja, of offering 60 upacharas, goes directly on to your baby, right? You wake him, you speaking pleasing words, you undress him, you give him an oil massage. This is what we also do with the deity, gets an oil massage, especially when they're small, that they have not so much, gas in the stomach, because this causes him to cry and yell the whole night sometimes, right? So you have to get this gas out somehow by giving anyway. So and then you give him a bath, then you try the baby, right? What we do with the deity as well, we try Shalakam Shilas, and then we dress the baby, we dress the deity, and then in the end we feed the Lord, the baby, right? So here Karama Muni and Devahuti, they could directly, when you have the Supreme Personality of Godhead as your son or as your child, then you can directly serve in the same way. It goes directly to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You make directly devotional service. All right, so that's a blessing for sure. And then, so Devahuti, she was lamenting. She said, actually, you promised me what? To Karama Muni. She said, you promised me actually what? What did you promise? Huh? Safety through what? Yes, knowledge. Safety through knowledge. And we always hear this, that a girl or a lady should be always protected. By whom? When she is a child, by the father. When she is a married lady, by the husband. And when she's elderly, by her son. Which one? The eldest. Yeah, that's the system. So, and this means she get protection on the material realm sphere, right? So she always is looked after. She is nourished, and she's part of the family. And I always say, having a woman is actually a great blessing, because with a woman you directly invite Lakshmi Devi to your family as a kid. You take care of this little girl, you take care of Lakshmi Devi. When she's given over to the husband in marriage ceremony, there's a whole meditation, because she representing the energy of Lakshmi Devi. So if the husband looks nicely after that girl, Lakshmi Devi is very pleased and will not leave his house. And at the same time, when she is in the family of the sun, still she represents Lakshmi Devi, because she gives always good, she's always useful. Elderly women actually is very, very useful in the family. Right? She can assist with the kids, because she knows everything, because she had kids. So when you have kids, or the daughters have kids, then this lady takes care of the kids, what is very much needed, because having kids is not always, it can be quite exhausting. So if you have a mother-in-law, whatever, you can give over the kid, it's very good. Then she can cook, she can, sew socks, or whatever was there. A woman is always useful. You have an old man in the house. He can't really work anymore. Chopping wood is too difficult. Walking is too difficult. He can't see anything more. He never learned how to cook. Most of them, some know. So he's just sitting in the corner and breathing air and eating food. Telling stories, this is, but if you tell stories, I had once, I knew an old man, every birthday, he spoke about how he fought under General Rommel. And everybody was, oh no, not this story again. And the whole afternoon, and it was really, you could count on it. After the the cake, then he started, and everybody was trying to focus on their own conversation, not to listen, because he just started to speak, and he had the ability to just, in one point, he just take over. Nobody spoke anymore. Everybody was kind of nodding away, and were always the same stories. So if you're in your own house, you tell always the same stories. Everybody's, oh, not again. But therefore, the men are supposed to leave to another house to tell the stories there. And when they're exhausted of the stories, then he goes to another house, and another house, another house. And this way, slowly, gradually, right? He goes into some other corner of the world. Because he's still useful there, right? So, but here, Kadama Muni, he had already this realization that he said, no, I don't want to be a breathing, a breathing bellow of a blacksmith in the corner. I want to be some useful. So I go and do my. Yeah, they have some. Really? Is this the same class? Sometimes there is a delay. I also recognize this. Anyway, so Kadama Muni, he went already. Now the Lord comes. Jai Jai Shishipad Lakshmi Shingadev Ki Jai. So Kadama Muni, he went his house, and then Devahuti said, hey, wait a second, you can't leave me without protection, right? But then Kadama Muni thought, yes, right, but you're the wife of Kadama Muni, right? So you think I leave you somebody who just feed you and take care of you? Did you become an old and fat woman? Is this what you learned in my association? No. You will get the supreme shelter. You will get the supreme, protection. What is that protection? Yeah, but every lady gets a son at one point. What is special? Huh? Yeah, the God is the Son, but what this God made? Was it just there and said, okay, here I am, I'm God? Yeah. Okay, Nanimogi said it. She got knowledge. She got knowledge because knowledge actually is this what makes people free, what makes souls free. And therefore, he not just gave some knowledge, right, by how to better peel potatoes or something like that. No, he gave her Sankhya knowledge. And Sankhya knowledge actually is the supreme knowledge, is the knowledge actually about the soul. Knowledge about the soul. And what is the difference between the soul and the body? So, and when you understand this Sankhya, this knowledge, then actually you're supposed to be free. But, why but? What's wrong with this knowledge alone? Yes?
You have to accept it and surrender.
Yes, okay. Mataji, you said also something? Or you? Exactly. This knowledge alone could lead us to some conclusion that, okay, now then we just Brahman, we just everything one, we are spiritual, but we have the knowledge, so what? Right? And therefore, Kapila Muni, he taught his mother this Sankhya philosophy in association with devotional service. Therefore, Prabhupada, in his last purport to the verse before, he said that if you have this knowledge or have Sankhya philosophy, but it's not in association with devotional service, it leads you astray. In one instruction, Kapila Dev tells his mother that devotional service, and of course you can only make devotional service, real devotional service, if you have this philosophy. Now for us it's kind of okay, because this is actually our starting point. This is what Prabhupada teaches us from the very beginning. You can say actually is Sankhya philosophy. But we know as the philosophy of the Hare Krishnas and whatever, we're not this body, we are spiritual souls, we are do devotional service and so forth. But actually it's Sankhya philosophy. But from the beginning, Prabhupada, he explains it in the light of devotional service. So Kapila Dev, in one instruction, he says to his mother, devotional service is so strong, so powerful, that it burns the material body. What means the material body means the material consciousness. The consciousness, what is stuck in matter. This is what we are. He burns it to ashes like the fire in the stomach digesting food. Right? So if we really understand this philosophy and come not to the conclusion to make devotional service, then we not really have understood it. Because knowledge alone has always to be applied under different circumstances. Because how many times we heard the big, strong brahmachari, or the ones who was wearing for some time saffron, like myself. I was not a big, strong brahmachari. But how much the brahmacharis tell that family life is not so good for making spiritual advancement. The ones who stay brahmachari the whole lifetime, how many? 50% on the way, they made it already, or there's so many statements like this. What supports brahmachari life? Is it true or not? Does he speak right or not? Yes, it's true. It's true. It's completely true. You can sign it. Now the same big brahmachari, or the small ones like myself, And one point they understand, oops, I have senses. And these senses, they have some needs. So he goes and enters the Grihastha life. Now the same strong brahmachari start to speak about Grihastha ashram is very important, because in Grihastha ashram you go through so many challenges, what brings you to the real understanding that you're the servant, that you in the in one point in Grihastha ashram, especially the man, the standing in the end of the food chain. Ananda Krishna yesterday spoke about the what is it called? The Lieferkette. So it's purification, right? Grihastha ashram is purification, but it's important. It's important for most of the men to make spiritual progress. So is he right? Yes, he's right. So, but how? Wait a second. How can that be? As a brahmachari, he said only as a brahmachari you can make it, and it's very good if you stay brahmachari. Family life is very much a disturbance for spiritual life, and this was true. And now he says completely, almost the opposite, and it's also true. How can that be? It's a different level? Yeah, it's different levels of realization. Okay, one can say like that. I would say that's knowledge applied to time, place, and circumstances. Right? So, because you're in a different situation, you apply the same knowledge, but apply it to some different kind of circumstances, because they had changed. So it's the same philosophy, but it's different. It's different it's in a different way manifested. For example, Arjuna, he comes to the battlefield and he sees this dilemma and he says, that's not right. And he quotes Shastra. He says, this Dharma Shastra says this. Artha Shastra says this. They're all supporting the point, I should not fight. Shastra says I should not fight. And Shastra is written down by Vedavyas. Vedavyas was very much around in this time. So what's the problem? I go in the forest, I take sannyas. And Shastra would actually support this idea. But there you have then Lord Krishna standing on the battlefield and saying, nope. Although Shastra says that's right, but no, you don't do this. You do what I tell you. Right? So Krishna himself, he takes the importance of Shastra, of scriptures, out of place and says, my wish is more important. My wish is more important what I want. And this is because you are my what? Yes, you are my dear devotee. So for a devotee, he always takes in consideration, okay, what is the philosophy? But or what is the knowledge? What is the basic knowledge of this? What is the knowledge? But the devotee also looks for receiving discrimination. And this is important. We need knowledge with discrimination to really apply this knowledge in a situation and see what Krishna wants from me. Does he want me to apply this knowledge in this way, or does he apply me to this knowledge in that way? What pleases Krishna? So although sometimes we have all this, okay, life look like this, and this is like that, and this is like that, or let's say in the temple, of course, we wear devotional clothes, especially when we on the altar. We very much be traditionally, right? Because we're representing a culture in a temple. And we're making devotional service in a temple. So being in a temple, we have to be aware of this, is like a magnifying glass of devotional service. Whatever we do in the temple counts much more than when we do it somewhere else. Because we directly do it for Krishna. Vida, is it a burning question or? Okay.
Because I thought in the Shastra is the wish of Krishna. But this can be controversial.
Yeah, but that's exactly the point that that Krishna gave the Shastra, but in the same time he takes Shastra out of place. So how is that? Because Krishna is a person, so he has personal desires. It's like, sorry, this is really a question for the end. Yeah, now I lost it, the plot. Nobody listens anyway. When our breakfast, what is? Yes. Yeah, this is what I said to Vitu, but before I was walking in another direction. Oh yeah, thank you. That's it. So we are very it's a magnifying glass in the Shastra. Now you go. Oh, okay. No, maybe there's classes, or maybe they have it downstairs or whatever. So this is what we represent here. So when people walk into the door, they like to see, especially also Indians, they're very amazed if they see us wearing dhoti and tilak and doing this, doing arati, doing puja, doing cooking in a traditional way. Because most of the Indians, they don't know anymore. I remember once, Gopal, right when we visit your how is it called? Is it your cousin? And I put on a dhoti in the morning, because in this time we only had saris and dhotis, right? You had dhotis, I had saris. No. So I put on a dhoti, and he was supposed to pick us up to take us somewhere, right? And I just put on my dhoti, and he looked at me and said, I don't know how to do this. Even Indians, if they put on a dhoti, they are ready-made dhotis. They're like trousers, you can just rip, and it looks like a dhoti. So, and when they come here, we're doing some puja. I really have a hard time, women, but I also recognize that this even decreases, that they come in just like some, how it's called, Punjabi dress or something like that. But usually still the women, they come in sari. Although it's the newest ones, so much starch inside that, like in a, but they come with a sari. But a man hardly wearing a dhoti. I always point out to them before and say, if possible, bring some dhoti. And they're coming here and say, with the jeans, trousers, and they say, did you bring dhoti? Yes. And he goes in the corner. I had one last time. Very nice family, but he goes in the corner, and on top of the jeans, he puts a dhoti. Like, okay, whatever. Good try, So they are amazed when they see we do all the rituals, we do all the stuff, and then they are, wow. And they can connect with this. Wow, this is my fault. When I was young, I learned like this actually. They often say. Huh? But for example, when we go outside and we go in the dhoti, especially in the winter time, we had one very enthusiastic Prabhu here. He went to Freiung. I had to go to the dentist, and he said, ich will mit dir mitkommen, ich will Bücher verteilen. I said, okay. So I took him with me to Freiung, but he was like in dhoti, in chador, because he tried to be very Vedic and only had the chador on top of it. And then because it was snowing, it was like a day like today, he was done like this. and came to the people with a book in the hand, and everybody was like, ooh, and looking at him, this guy completely, you like to read, and everybody thinking, what the nonsense are you? Sorry. It's a nice devotee. But people, we have to see, people they see us and they think, either he's completely crazy or he's brainwashed by this Zielberg 20 Leute. They know us. They know exactly where we come from, So when you come outside, therefore property stressed, okay, you go in the West, whatever, you look like a gentleman. Because this is how they can relate to. So you go outside and you look like a gentleman or like properly dressed, and then they can somehow relate to you. Okay, there's another gentleman. I only speak to gentlemen. I don't speak to hippies. But this is so I listen what he has to say. If the shaking brahmachari with a book comes, he doesn't listen what to say, although he speaks the same thing. Right? But he's not able to listen because he thinks he is not proper. He doesn't fit in my understanding of reality. So we have to have knowledge, but we have to have discrimination, how we use this knowledge. Because the speciality of a devotee is not only to see what Krishna wants for me, he also knows what is the ability to this other person speaking to me and how I can connect him. How can I lovingly force him to make devotional service? Right? And this is actually the responsibility of a devotee. This is the responsibility of an acharya. Therefore, Prabhupada, when he came to the West, he didn't stress immediately, like you do rituals, you do fire sacrifice, you do deity worship or something like that. That came very, very slowly. What was the first thing Prabhupada told to his disciples? Yes? What? Chanting, yes. Go on the street and chant. Because he could see this is actually what they like to do anyway, this hippie generation. They somehow, whatever. And this corresponds directly with the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you just add Krishna to this, and here you have it, the Sankirtan movement, right in the West. And it worked out so well, And then he said, okay, they're a little bit getting exhausted with all of this chanting, and I have to bring also some philosophy. So I bring the philosophy and let them do the distribution of this philosophy, of this Sankhya philosophy. So engage them in devotional service. Right? And in this way, they engaging other people in devotional service. So this is our ability, what we have to see. Okay, who comes into our door and how we can connect him with the Sankirtan movement and what is proper for him. If somebody comes from the streets, apparently didn't shower so regularly, we don't send him to the kitchen to cut vegetables for the Lord. Not here. We had this in Leipzig where we had kind of very, standard what could move here or there a little bit. You can do this, depends on the kind of worship what you have. But in such a temple, what is very powerful, because the Lord is worshipped very powerful here. That means magnificent class becomes very strong. You have to also take care, okay, what can I, how I can engage somebody without making offenses, because in the end the Lord is not so pleased if the food has the aroma of unwashed fingers. So guess whom is the Lord, when you're a king, or when the king, you're a servant of the king, the most intimate servant of the king, and you come to the king and something is wrong. The cook did some wrong cooking. Who gets the first plaster? Who gets the first blast? Huh? The servant, yes. So it means the butchery. And if the butcher, I'm just doing lunch program. Okay, bring me the head butchery. Head butchery comes and temple president. He told me to whatever temple commander, whatever. So everybody passes the responsibility around. So it doesn't go directly to the person who did not wash his hands. It goes to the person who didn't tell him to wash his hands and engaged him in some kind of service. So this is discrimination. So anyway, we see here that the Kapila Kadama Muni, he had the realization that he said, whatever form you appear, now you're here as a baby, but you're still forcing devotional service out of your devotees. Because why the Lord appears anyway? What does he say in his most important shastra for us? And establish the principles of religion again, yes. So therefore he comes, first of all, to really please his devotees. And this you can see clearly, okay, the Lord came to please Kadama Muni and Devahuti. So I appear as the child and give him, who can say that? And then of course he killed the demons. How he killed the demons here in this form of Kapila Muni? Sankhya, yeah, durch philosophy, through knowledge, right? And what he did in the same time. Yeah, but what was the outcome then? By this instruction, is not only he instructed his mother, therefore it ended up in the Bhagavatam, he instructs whom? Yes, us. And in this way, he established the principles of eternal religion, right? And so Kapila Dev saying here, we are you're not Kadama Muni, he's saying here, you're not different. That doesn't matter in which form you come. You always ask for devotional service, right? And we have Sri Prahlad Lakshmana Singadev now here, and Prabhupada says it twice in the purport that Krishna and Nrsingadev are the same. So you have different avatars, but some avatars, they are more Krishna than other ones, right? So Rama, Varaha, Nrsimha, Prabhupada always puts in the same category as Krishna, And it's for great devotees like Prahlad Maharaj, that's normal. He actually asked for Govinda. Who came out of the pillar was Nrsimha, right? And this was most suitable because Hiranyakashipu, he would not be impressed when a little boy came out of the pillar. That worked for Kamsa. Even Kamsa was not impressed, but this was his misfortune. But for Hiranyakashipu, he was the greatest demon, and the Lord had to make an example that he says, for my devotees, I go in my very fierce state. Right? And he appeared as Nrsingadev. So now here we have what we have to do with Nrsingadev. Actually, when we or the worship of Nrsingadev is very, very old. It's actually older as the worship of Radha and Krishna on this planet Earth, on this realm. You see especially in India, very, very ancient old temples of the worship of Narasimha. But the worship as Radha and Krishna basically started first with when Krishna was on the planet and he left the planet, and then his grandson, I forgot his name, somebody remember? He's not the grandson of Krishna. He established many deities of Radha and Krishna, or especially Krishna in Vrindavan in the area of Braj. And then it spread. And most of the time, deities who are worshipped, especially also Narasimha deities, they are more or less self-manifested, or they brought from higher realms into this reality of the earth realm by great devotees like Brahma, like he brought Ranganath, right? He installed Ranganath many eons ago. So, but why, sometimes people asking why in ISKCON Narasimhadev is worshipped? Who knows? Protect Bhakti? Well, Prabhupada said it in, you know what Prabhupada said about Narasimhadev? That's not wrong, but yes, to protect the devotees, protect the spiritual master, and protect the movement. This Chananiva said that this Prabhupada said why we worship Narasimhadev. And that's very appropriate. And devotees become very attached to Narasimhadev, especially also ISKCON devotees. And it's not Prabhupada alone, also Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, when he established, or Bhaktivinoda Thakur, even when he established the yoga pit, then he installed also a deity of Lakshmi Narasimha in his temple. Right, in Mayapur, when you go around the main altar, when you go in the corner, there is a deity of Lakshmi Narasimha. And so in this time, actually, what is the main avatar? Yeah, Harinam Srinam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the main avatar. And so each and every deity actually take the form or take the mood of the Yuga avatar. So now we have here Shri Shri Prahlad Lakshmi Shingadev, but actually it's also Lord Gauranga. Yeah? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he revealed in many places that he is not different from especially Narasimhadev. Right? And therefore this is our meditation, that although we worship Narasimhadev here, we still Gaudiya Vaishnavas. We still worship the Lord in his form as Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And this is very important what I want to conclude out of this purport, that the Lord takes different forms, but according to the mood of the worshipper. And what is the mood of our worship? Who knows? Whom do we follow with our worship? Yes, the Goswamis. So this is our sampradaya, basically. We worship the mood of our acharyas, and they are handed down through the Guru Parampara to Srila Prabhupada, and he teaches us to worship, to approach the Lord in the mood of the Gaudiya Sampradaya, in the line of the 6 Goswamis. And so this is our mood of worship, and therefore the Lord appears in this particular mood in front of us. And therefore he reciprocates also with us in this mood of worship. So yes, that's very important. What the points I wanted to make as first of all, this knowledge, the Sankhya knowledge is very, very important, but we have to use it with discrimination. So use knowledge with discrimination according to time, place, and circumstances. And that we have to see what kind of mood we approach the deity, right? So whatever is spoken, of course, I know I'm not the best representative of all of these things, and sometimes we think we have knowledge, and we use this knowledge, but we don't use this knowledge necessarily for the benefit of other people. We use knowledge many times of the benefit of oneself. So that we appear learned, that we appear well-versed and wise and so many things. But in this way, we try to establish only ourselves. So I'm asking for forgiveness that I use knowledge to bring myself in the center. I work on this to really be a transparent medium, that knowledge without my contamination of my life situation. For example, as a brahmachari, I said, yeah, brahmachari. As a grihastha, say, grihastha, because it's always tinted. Knowledge is always tinted with my understanding of my situation where I'm in, right? Therefore, please forgive me for doing so, and bless me that I can continue being in your association, getting purified in a soft way, because I can't take hot strokes. I'm too, I'm too sensitive in this. And but if you allow me and teach me gently, then my mind can accept it, and I can stay in this magnificent class of this temple, worshipping Shri Shri Palat Lakshmi Shingadev. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions? Yes. Mr. Prabhu. Give me an example you think of. I'm sure you have something in mind what you think or what happened.
I mean, just, our basic, for example, is the sadhana, getting up in the morning and be ready for Mangalarati. But you can say, oh no, it's not the right time, or it's not the right place, or whatever. But this is what we need just to get the whole thing running.
In the end, you have to know what sincerity you have. Prabhupada writes in the introduction of the Nectar of Devotion, he writes, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. So in the end, as Prabhupada says, we can, many planes, we are like planes in the air, and everybody in the end has to fly his own plane. We maybe for a while we fly in a flock, and that helps us to find a way to kind of be on track. But in the end, we have to fly our own plane. And especially when we are on a temple, then it's and you live renounced, let's say, as a brahmachari, or kind of in this ashram situation, then there is no question, because this is all what there is. And that's the once you don't have this anymore, you have to move out. Ananda Krishna spoke also yesterday about devotees who cannot live in the temple, who live outside. You really appreciate this, and you see the luxury of living such a lifestyle in a temple. And you make a step in the temple, you turn around, and there you have a dance for the Lord. You turn around outside on the streets, it's not a dance for the Lord. You do it here in the temple room, you turn around, it's, oh, he danced, like that. And if you have then the opportunity, hey, there's Mangalarati, there is God. I mean, there's God. Everybody's looking for him. But there he is, even the atheists look for him. They look for him to cover him. Oh, he comes out again, put another patch on. No, he's not existing, So, this is something, there he is. And then we're standing here and You know, Sangsara da. Oh, when this class is what he speak. Oh, he spoke this already. I hear this so many times. He spoke about this old man. He always speaks the same. He's just the same. Oh, who's cooking breakfast? Oh no, not he's cooking breakfast. You know. So that's not that we don't make much progress in that. But if we really bring our heart, if we go down in the shower, the red one or the blue one. Oh, today the red one. Time, place, and circus is in the end is cold outside, right? So the red one, and then we're standing for half an hour till the red one doesn't work anymore because all the water warmer is empty. Oops, So no, take especially in the morning. You don't go down in the shower. You go to the Ganga. You go to the Ganga. And in the moment you turn on the blue tap, you jump into the Ganga. And you're getting a bath into the Ganga Snan. And then you go up, freezing because, it's a little bit chilly today in Mayapur, isn't it? You go up and you don't stand in the Brahmacharya ashram. No, you stand beside the Ganga, put on clean, fresh dhoti. Put on tilak. Not from a bowl or whatever. No, you go to the Ganga and put on your tilak. So it's everything is in our consciousness. And when we enter the temple room, we have to say, hey, there's Srila Prabhupada. This is the founder Acharya. Without him, nobody would be here, not even this temple. Not even the Singadev would be here. Because the Lord lives through what? Through his devotees. So when Prabhupada would not be here, there would be no Nrsingadev. Would it mean he doesn't exist? No, for us Nrsingadev would not exist. So Prabhupada brought us Krishna, brought us Nrsingadev, brought us this wonderful opportunity. You just open this book of sadhana bhakti somewhere and you grab inside and you get nectar. You get nectar if you have the right consciousness. So you bow down in front of Srila Prabhupada and make sure you bow down in front of the founder Acharya. When you stand up, you make a little prayer, you say thank you, so do something. Recognize there's a person. You have to come in, and then you stand up and just walk around as if if he would not be there. How many times I see this? You know what I mean? Huh? Should I show it? Like people come in and then they stand up and just walk away. You would not do this if your guru would sit there. Right? And then finally there comes the Butchar and he blows the conch shell and it's too loud, the conch shell. No, this conch shell kills all the demons on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra were scattered when Krishna blew his conch shell. With the name Panchanchanya, right? So and I don't want to hear this. No, this conch shell cleans all the holes in the ether that no subtle beings can come in. If you think this chai, let me observe. Of course, sometimes some put chais, maybe overdo it, but they're also just enthusiastic, right? And then the curtain opens and there's God. Let's bow down, there's God. My goodness, I can see him. Who can see God in the morning? I mean, amazing what Prabhupada gave us. Once I had an interreligious dialogue here, and I brought him in front of the altar, and some Christian man, very nice man, he looked at the altar, and it can be tricky, especially with Christians, and he said, fühlt sich an wie, als würde ich ins Wohnzimmer von Gott schauen. And I thought, wow, what a realization, Hare Krishna, I never thought like that. But this is what Prabhupada said, there are windows in the spiritual world. So when you look at the Lord, you look in the spiritual world. You can't directly speak with him, let's speak to him, let's go in front of him and tell him. What is there? No, I don't do this. Why not? I don't speak to him. No, he's not, My Lord, you're not just a statue. You directly there. How's the statement? Nandimuki, our guru, gave a whole seminar about it. You're not a statue. You are directly the son of Nandan. Yeah. So this should be our understanding. And when we do this, but this we have to cultivate this by ourselves. We have to ask for enthusiasm, utsav. Huh? We have to ask for this, and we have to cultivate this, and we have to always remind ourselves, why living in this corona world? No, we live in a spiritual world, whatever. So I go to the Ganga, take my bath in the morning with cold water. What's the problem? It's joyful, jai. I do it. It's such a wonderful opportunity. Sun is coming up on the horizon. I see the Abud Mandir. Es ist immer noch nicht fertig, Abud Mandir. No, it's since eternally there. It's in your heart. You just have to see it. Why do you criticize? They come not. They make no progress. No. The Abud Mandir is there. You just have to see it. Look for it in your heart. It's almost there. Gauranga Mahaprabhu is dancing there. What's the problem? We have to cultivate this. And when we read scriptures, we have to read the scriptures, envision it. Envision how it was when Mahaprabhu walked through the bushes of Navadvip. When you do parikram in Navadvip, you can really imagine, because it still looks like there. The smell of the aroma there when you do it in for Gopunim time, they have all the coriander is growing there, right? And you walk through and you. And it's just when I smell coriander, immediately I'm in Mayapur doing parikram. It's so easy. You walk through the forest, you see these little huts with a cow in front of it. Then the Indian standing there brushing his teeth for hours, like foamy, so it's just there. And then you look over the Ganga, and then you see them dancing. Just imagine, they're dancing. This was like 500 years ago. So it's there. We just have to work on it. We just have to use the philosophy and kind of bring it together with the emotions of our heart. I don't mean emotions like whatever, and this is, it doesn't mean tears or whatever, but we need these emotions. These emotions, they're spiritual emotions. They belong in, these are the emotions not of our mind, not of our body, they are the emotions of our soul. And they bring us back to the service of the Lord, where we belong, where we are happy. Anyway, sorry, I shoot maybe over the top a little bit. Yeah, this is time, place, and circumstance. So you have to find out this. Therefore, advanced devotees, he can see time, place, and circumstance and apply it. Otherwise, when we can't apply it, then we just follow the formula. That's for safe. But then we should stick to it and not bring it to somebody else. Like, oh no, you have to do like this. Somebody comes new to the temple. Gamshao and these and yenes. No, we try time, place, and circumstance. Okay, it's the first time here, the first night. Naturally, he stands naked under the shower. How many times it happened? And you come in and some new bhakta standing there naked. You feel, oh my God, Gamsha! You don't see me here again. So if you stick to the regulations, it's a protection for you, and then slowly you try to implement this to this person. How many of you wearing still underwear, especially with the dhoti? No, I don't want to know. When in my times, I mean, like the second day, they told you coping, Anyway, toilet paper on the toilet. Hare Krishna, what Maya is this? I mean, there's it's a little bit of course now it's we are a little bit more careful in this regard, but still, especially in the temple, we should also kind of come back what is the original, how is the culture, where the culture comes from, no? And then we can make very nice combination what suits and brings everybody into the big wheel in the Sudarshan chakra of the Sankirtan mission. Everybody is sucked in, and in the middle there is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. Sorry. I wish you a wonderful day, inspired in Krishna consciousness, and again asking for your blessings that I can be in the movement of Srila Prabhupada and in your association. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Srila Gurudev ki jai.
Krishna.